Alright guys, welcome back to my best of 2016 like little mini series. Today we're going to be talking about eyeshadow palettes. The last video was highlighters. I'll leave that link down below and up top. So we're going to jump right in because I have a lot of palettes that I purchased in 2016. I don't know what it was about 2016, but I purchased so many palettes, which is the reason why going into 2016 I'm really starting to cut down on the palettes and highlighters that I am purchasing. It has to be really unique for me to buy it. Some palettes can be sometimes I hassle to store, and also it's just like it can be a lot. So I'm really cutting down on the eyeshadow palettes that I am purchasing, but here are the ones that really floored me in 2016. So before we jump right in, just like the last video, big disclaimer that there are some palettes in here that I'm not mentioning that I do really like. So there's a palette in here that you've seen in my favorites, you've seen me talk about on Instagram or another video. This video would have been really long if I popped in so many palettes. There will be some honorable mentions that may not have made it in, but I really want to mention them. And also, just like the last video, like I said, there may be some palettes here that you guys don't like. There may be something that you guys loved. Just keep in mind, these are the palettes that I love this year and that really floored me this year and was just phenomenal. So we're gonna go and jump right into the first palette, which is more of an honorable mention, I want to say, and that's the Kat Von D MetalMatte palette. Like the packaging alone, yeah, the packaging alone really got me. This palette is huge. It was $60 and it did come out this holiday season. This is more of an honorable mention because, matter of fact, no, not an honorable mention. I love this palette. If you see my last few tutorials, you see me pop a shade from this palette in. I love this palette, and I know this palette got some mixed reviews because the mattes are a little chunky. Not chunky, excuse me, the mattes are a little powdery. But to me, that's typical Kat Von D formula. I don't know where y'all been, but you know, but I really do love this palette. So down towards this end, you get your neutrals, and you go up a bit more, you get into your pops of colors. I love this palette. It was pretty pricey for the holiday season. It is current. I don't think it's available anymore. That's a lie. I've recently seen it in stores. As far as online goes, I'm not quite sure. If you don't have it, I would say try to get it in store. It is pricey, but in 2016, this was like one of the highlights of my holiday. Out of all the palettes I got this holiday season, this is one of the highlights. And the other one, I will show you in a minute. And these are like in no particular order. I'm just grabbing from the pile and going. The next one is the Tarte in collab with Graveyard Girl eyeshadow palette. If you have been watching my channel at all this year, from the day I purchased this palette, you guys know how much I love this palette. So you get a highlighter, a bronzer, and a blush, and 9 shadows. I love this palette. It is so women of color friendly. The shade is so pigmented. I love, look, that's the highlighter, girl. The highlighter is a little bit more on the chunky side, but I love that highlighter. I always reach for the highlighter. I always reach for the blush. I love these shadows. Like, look at Dog Man. Like, Dog Man is that beautiful burnt orange. You have Sippy Sippy. I mean, Sassy Bun. Sippy Sippy is all the dark brown. I love this palette. Tarte and Bunny did an amazing job. This palette, look at that highlighter. This palette floored me. If you've been watching me at all, you guys know how much I love this palette. This palette, I use it all the time. I keep it on top of my vanity. I need it near me for life. Like, this palette floored me. And with Bunny's pale skin, you would not think she would make a palette this versatile, and it is. Like, I know this palette has really mixed reviews. People say it's not pigmented. I find it to be. I'm gonna swatch Dog Man. I'm gonna swatch Sassy Bun. I have no nails on, but I don't know where they get the no pigmentation from, because like this palette is pigmented. Look at that. I've never had a problem with pigmentation when it comes to this palette, like ever. From the moment I got it till today, and I got this over the summer, I think. This palette is absolutely amazing, and if this is, they just recently restocked, I think last month. This is an amazing eyeshadow palette, multi-use palette, because you have the blush and the highlighter in here. I can't use the bronzer, it's too light for me, but I love it nonetheless. The next palette is the Violet Voss Holy Grail palette. This palette sells out non-stop. They say it's limited edition, but they have restocked it multiple times. This is such an amazing neutral everyday palette with your pops of colors. This palette is so gorgeous. It does retail for $42, and if you live in New York City, you can also check out Ricky's. They carry these palettes in store. This is so beautiful. I love this palette. It floored me in 2016, just like I know for a lot of other people. This palette is so amazing, so versatile. You have a mixture of mattes and shimmers, which I love palettes like that. Don't get me wrong, I love a good all matte palette, like my the Balm Meet Matrimony, love that palette. I love my Viseart matte palette. I love a good all matte palette, but I love a palette as well that has a few shimmers in it. I love this palette, and just like everyone else, I use it non-stop. It is a holy grail. The next palette is the Lorac Mega Pro 3, another palette with a lot of mixed reviews, but this is my favorite Mega Pro palette. I didn't get Mega Pro 1. Mega Pro 2, I did gift it to a girl, hey Genesis girl, and she's loving it. And this is my baby right here. Like, this palette is my child, okay? Like, I love this eyeshadow palette. Oh my gosh. I love this eyeshadow palette. Like, this is, like, these shimmers are insane. And also, I'm not gonna swatch everything. I have way too many palettes in this pile right here, but this palette is amazing. So just like the normal Mega Pro palettes, you get 12 mattes and 12 shimmers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 mattes and 16 shimmers. So your mattes are the first 2 rows, the shimmers are the bottom 2 rows. I love these. This rose quartz, this rose gold shade is absolutely stunning. Brown sugar, sequoia, pomegranate, cider, pink bronze. Oh my gosh, maple, bark, eggplant is my jam, violet, gray, walnut, pecan. Girl, this palette is amazing. Like, long nails, yes, 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 okay? So freaking good. Another palette that I constantly use. I love this palette. Lorac did their thing this year. Now I'm excited about next year, because last year I did not like that palette, but this, after this year, now I'm excited about next year. I love this palette. The next one is the Tartelette in Bloom. I also own the Tartelette 1, but this has that palette beat by a mile. When this palette came out, just the pictures alone, I'm trying to open it, just the pictures alone had me like, I need to buy this. But this is so beautiful, you guys. It's rosy, like, it's so, like, the camera is not doing it justice. If you've never seen this palette up close, if you haven't, you have to go to Sephora and see it up close. But this palette has beautiful, like, rosy tones. Like, it reminds me of, like, spring, like rosy tones, bronze. Firecracker is gorgeous. Lita, Rebel, Funny Girl, so beautiful. And unlike the Tartelette 1, which is all matte, this one has 1, 2, 3 shimmers, and the mattes in here are typical matte, Tarte matte quality, meaning they blend and apply beautifully. I love this palette. I love reaching into it, like, mostly in the springtime, but for really nice neutral looks with that nice pop of bronze, like really beautiful on deeper skin tones. I love this palette. And the next palette is the Makeup Geek in collab with what's his name? Manny Mua. Please forgive me. I just drew a blank. I haven't eaten yet today still. But this palette is amazing. Manny did an amazing, look at that. Manny did an amazing job. Look at Insomnia. Now, all these shades are not only accustomed to this palette. Some of them are in Makeup Geek's permanent collection, like this one right here, which is Beaches and Cream, Cosmopolitan, Frappe, And I think the rest of them are created by Manny. Now, Mars and Insomnia. Girl, you joking? Look at that. Girl, are you joking? Are you joking? Like, the pigmentation with this palette, it's Makeup Geek shadow, so you know the quality is already there. I don't have to tell you that. But the pigmentation is amazing. I love this palette. It is forever sold out. But they always, how I got it was, if you like sign up to be notified when it comes back in stock, you pay. I think I paid right there, and then they just shipped it to me when it came back in stock. I'll leave a link to that down below, but this is always sold out, you guys. Like, really honest, it's always sold out, and this is limited edition. I think it's still available, but don't quote me on that. Of course, if it is, I will leave a link for you guys, but if not, I'll let you know down below if it's still available or not. This palette is absolutely gorgeous. It's literally one of my holy grail palettes. I keep it close. It's amazing, and I'm so glad I was able to get my hands on this. The next two palettes are by Dose of Colors. I love the Dose of Colors palettes. I wanted to pop in the Eyescream palette as an honorable mention. It didn't like floor me in 2016, but I really do love it, and that's this one. That's the Dose of Colors Eyescream palette. It's so beautiful. It was in a haul video that I did. So I wanted to pop this in as an honorable mention because it really is a beautiful, unique palette. I don't have any palette like this, and being that I own so many palettes, I'm looking for palettes more like that. It has to be really unique. But what really floored me in 2016 is the Dose of Colors Hidden Treasures palette. This is what the outside looks like. It has like, it's cardboard, but it looks like metal, like what you will hide your treasures in. I don't know. But these colors, you guys, these shimmers are gorgeous. Like, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 mattes and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shimmers. One swipe, nothing on my hand. Completely, yeah, completely nothing. One swipe. Let's do crown. One swipe. Look at that. These shimmers are insane. That is one of the one swipe, my nail like dug into it. Oops. That's one of the darkest blacks. This shade Key is beautiful for the crease. Lock it as a transition. Absolutely. These matte shadows are like pressed. Like, look at that gold. Look at that. And I swatched Crown, which is like a ruby shade. Absolutely gorgeous. This floored me in 2016. Like, when I got my hands on this, just looking at it had me like, girl. And I think their palettes are always limited edition. Again, don't quote me on that, but I think they're limited edition. I don't even know if this one is available anymore, because I got it when it restocked. I don't remember, but of course I will leave links. Girl, amazing, amazing palette. The next palette I'm gonna show you guys, the world went insane. I got this palette at work on the clock, ducked down in a corner underneath the camera by the back door so I get service in the middle of my shift. Like, this palette floored the world, and it is a Too Faced Sweet Peach palette, and I got mine months ago after it restocked on I got it the day after it came out because I fell asleep. It came out whatever day, like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I had to work, so I went to bed. The next day, I forgot how I found out it was going to be a restock, and I kept refreshing, and boom, it came out. And this is the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. Yes, it smells like peaches. This palette floored the world. I love Summer Yum. Right here, I love Puree. I love Caramelized. Peach Pit Bellini is beautiful. Charmed, I'm sure, is really nice. And the purples over here are really, really nice as well. I did a did I do an initial review on this palette? I feel like I did, because I remember mentioning that I like how even though it's a sweet peach palette, they popped in the pops of greens in here, purples, and you really like lighter shades. I like that they put a little bit of variety. If it was just an all peach palette, I don't think I would like it as much. I know the recent peach collection just came out. I'm gonna try to get my hands on at least the blush. The highlighter looks a little too light for me, but I'm gonna try at least to test it out. I always like to at least test products out before I just count them out. But this palette floored the world, and I am included in that flooring the world people class. Alright guys, we're almost finished on this video. It's getting a little long. The next 3 palettes are from Anastasia Beverly Hills, who always does an amazing palette. The first one is her collab with Makeup by Mario. This palette is beautiful, perfect for every day. And I did do a swatch and tutorial video on this palette. I will link it somewhere. This palette is so beautiful. They did an amazing job, and I absolutely love this palette. Another thing that's constantly sold out, the Anastasia Beverly Hills website is not restocking this palette, so you can try Sephora, Ulta online, and Sephora and Ulta, I believe, in store. The next one is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Self-Made palette. I don't know about y'all, but I really do love this palette in 2016. This is one of those palettes where I really wasn't gonna buy, but the pictures did this palette no justice, like none whatsoever. And then I saw it in store and I knew I had to get it. In 2016, this is one of my favorite palettes. This is one of my favorite palettes, but in 2016, this is the one that I was really reaching for a lot in the beginning of the year. And the last one is the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. This palette is absolutely stunning. They did an amazing job. If you've been watching my channel for a while, and people who know me personally know my favorite Anastasia palette is the Shadow Couture palette. My favorite palette, hands down. Of all the ones I own, that's my favorite. And my second favorite would have to be, it'll be a tie between this one and Mario, and then Self-Made, so in case you're wondering. But I love this palette. I love the red tones. I love the bronziness, the burgundy goodness that is this palette. And I love the packaging. It gets really dirty, but I love the packaging, and this palette was and is amazing, and it's like a cult favorite now, and I love this palette. Sorry if my energy is starting to drop. I have not eaten, and it's 1:18 in the afternoon, and I've been up since 8:30, so my energy is starting to drop. But we have 3 more palettes to go. So the next one is the Huda Beauty. I know some of y'all gonna be like, what? Because I know this palette does not have great reviews, but girl, I love it. I love it. Even up in, I wasn't gonna put, matter of fact, you know what? I'll make this palette an honorable mention, only because I haven't fully used it long enough. I feel I only had it for like at least a month now. So honorable mention, the Huda Beauty palette. I love this palette. I don't mind using my fingers for the textured shadows. I love the mattes in here, like no question. I don't care who says what, these mattes are the bomb. But I've never used like the pearl shades. Flamingo always looks intriguing, but I've never used it. Look at that pink. It's beautiful. I would have to find a reason to use a matte pink shadow, but it's an honorable mention because I do use it a lot since I purchased it, but I need to use it a little bit longer. So it's been flooring me lately, but in 2016 it didn't make the cut, but I just wanted to mention it. So that's all the palettes I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I love you all, and again, happy 2017, and I will see you all in the next video. Mwah.